Hey,
What's up? We're live for real
I
live.
know, for real, for real, for real. I'm sweating.
It's, what's up?
I am sweating today. Wow.
I know, but I like this energy, and I'm like, we're both trying to like share and get it to our pages. So, and we
Yeah,
got the graphics bumbling.
I was busy on my text, like trying to see how many people I could text and to get onto our live show. But
Love
welcome
it.
everybody. Welcome to That Part Podcast 305. This is for you. Um, our beautiful host over there, Miss Janey Tate, founder of High Low News, South Florida's hyper local news. Big shout outs to her, of course. That Part Podcast 305. I'm your host, Papa Keith from 1035 The Beat and from Just Vote, period. Hey, Kawana. Hey, Tantas. Hey, Jay James. We can shout people out. You are hearing us talk to you live, and we are excited about it. We are going to get this party started for sure. And Janae, you want to talk about what we're going to be talking about today?
Yes, today we are doing a live reaction to President Biden's presidential address about him dropping out of the race. And we'll
Yes.
also be doing our reaction to him dropping out of the race, the news like Sunday, the message heard around the world, and all of this Kamala energy. Everybody is loving Kamala VP Harris right now. So we wanted to have a conversation today, a special episode where we get a chance to just really tell our thoughts on things and also to bring you the audience in. So we'll be looking at your comments, putting them on the screens, ask us live questions. I don't know if Papa Keith, because on Hello News, we put the link. We put the link in the comments and tell the people to jump on with us. Like, first of all, you a radio guy, so you
Uh,
already know about live callers. So if you give me a thumbs up and you ready for it, we can get them a hot 60 seconds to tell what they're thinking.
oh,
If
I
we
would
if after we
love
get our
that.
thoughts
Two
out,
thumbs up. I
yes,
would love
yes,
that. Let's do
yes.
it.
So, okay,
Let's
well,
do it.
let me
So in
put the
other words, if
thing.
they want to join us on here, okay.
I put it in the chat. I put the link in there. Join us if you want to and I'll even
And
put
how would that work? Would they like pop on the screen with us?
they will pop on the back stage. We'll let them in, and producer Tammy, thank you so much for being with us tonight. So can you help us with putting comments on the screen, and then what I'm going to put in the chat right now is join hit the link to join us live. Hit us. Well, Tammy, can you put that in the comments as I'm talking?
So let me ask
Yeah.
you this, JT, just so I'm understanding how maybe our audience is understanding, right? So can we
Mhm.
do it in a way where that we can just hear their voice, but we don't have to put them we don't have to put them on video?
We can do that. Like they would have to cut off their camera. But I think that's the fun part too to bring them on. But there's so they could either take their camera off, we'll just hear audio. So they could do that. And we can ask them to do that.
Yeah,
Or
because would it
if we want
affect
them,
our screen if we do that? Because I know we on a two-person screen right now.
it will, you know what, that's a good point. It will affect the screen. So we would have to adjust our graphics.
Uh,
But I think
I
we
just
should do
love
it.
the fact we so damn real with our shit. We like we gonna figure it out together, y'all. Come on.
No,
Oh man.
look. It's good. Like I think this is good. I think this is what people want to see from us, and so I'm liking it.
All right, that's what's up. So am I. So we will. So because I was thinking people might be shy, this, that, the other. So listen, feel free to hit us in the
Don't be shy
comments.
on high low.
Yeah, Velveeta, what's up? We gonna
Hey, mommy.
my Duke's in the
Hey.
house.
Yeah, she was like, y'all started yet? I said, look, I said, you got a little time. We wanted to make
Right.
sure we watched and digested the president's address, and
Yeah.
so that we could come on and talk about it.
Well,
Mhm.
since we on that, like, shout out to our parents for real, because I know your mother is a avid supporter and a watcher of the show. So I just want to shout her out, thank her for that. Both of my parents also watched the show. My father
I be
all the way
seeing them in the
from Trinidad.
comments.
Yeah. My father all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, and my mother up in Jacksonville right now. We're trying to kidnap her, but right now she's in Jayville. She in Duval. So
Duo.
right. So shout out to Mom Dukes if she's tapped in. We got some extended family tapping in from H Town, from Houston. Um, and then I got my family that's in the house, up in their rooms, tapped in. Kiara, Christian, Alden. They should all be tapped in right about now.
Hey, Kiara. Hey, Christian.
Yeah.
Hey, PK kids.
Right.
Look, okay, so what's the first thing? Because it's so much, y'all. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think, like, what's the first thing for us to tap in on? Like, what you think?
Well, we can start with some of our questions while they warm up. What you think? Because
I
I'm
think
ready to
so.
go. You ready for me to go?
Okay, so here's the thing. Should we do it in order? Like, what are we, like how we want to do that? How do we want to do that? Like, as far as like go from the presidential debate, or do we want to go from like how he, you know, did all like how all of this shit unfolded?
Well, why don't you give us a little bit of a story or understanding? Because you may have some audience members that are not, they didn't watch the speech today, or they're not really caught up with what's happening. I mean, most people know that Biden has stepped down, but just give a quick, kind of timeline, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. And so quick timeline. Sunday, the message, the statement seen around the world, President Joe Biden, President Robinette Biden, Joe Byron, as I'll call him, Uncle Jojo, he shocked the world around 2 o'clock on Sunday, saying that he would not be seeking reelection. And this is coming on the heels of people in the Democratic Party pressuring him to step down. They felt like, his performance from the debate and him getting COVID and all these different things, myriad of things. They felt like his age and his health and his cognitive abilities were not as up to par as they would like. And so they were pressuring him to step down. And so I'm watching the different CNN and news outlets, and they're saying donors started backing out. And then the New York Times is putting out piece, and George Clooney put out a piece urging him to step down. So we have all of this leading up from the last 2 weeks before
Yeah.
he officially steps down. So I wake up out of a nap like I'm always doing. The last 2 weeks with presidents and presidential candidates have been waking me up out of naps on Sundays
And on the
with
weekend, I was just
anxiety.
about to add
Yes,
on the weekend.
because
Like, what the
because
hell?
Trump the week before was his assassination attempt. And then this past Sunday is Joe Byron saying he's not going to seek reelection. So when I wake up, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, what does this mean? Who's going to be next? Who are the Democrats going to put up front?" Within hours, like maybe an hour or two passes, he says he puts his full force and his might behind Kamala Harris, VP Kamala Harris. He's like, "I support her and endorse her to be the presidential nominee for the
That was
Democratic
genius,
Party."
by the way.
Yes. And I
So
was like,
can we get into
"Okay,
that?
okay." So here's the thing. How did you feel? How did you feel when you first heard the news? Because I was watching it in real time, so I didn't know who would be the presidential
I am I
i-
am not a known as a religious man, but I was like, hallelujah, hallelujah. I
for
was,
real.
I mean, because
I know how you feel.
right, you know how I feel. And at some point, I get a little perturbed with people sipping the Kool-Aid. You know how I feel is there's a term that a lot of us should be familiar with. Do not pee on my leg and tell me it's rain. Right? So even though the debate, I was hoping that he would be able to really shine and have that opportunity, and the debate didn't go so well for him. And then he had the speech, and then he called Kamala Harris Trump, and then called the guy from Ukraine Putin, like two arch. He called him, Then I was like, listen, come on now, you know what I mean? Like you're peeing on my leg, okay? You're peeing on my leg. This is not rain. So, you know, at after that point, to hear Dems still be talking like, yeah, everything's fine. then I start to be like, see, this is why I don't be feeling it. This is why this be my issue with the Dems right there. That right there. Like, come on, stop it. So I was happy to see that. I think Obama was part of Team Buy Biden, and I know Nancy Pelosi was part of Team Buy Biden in terms of the Dems. So I was
Mhm.
really happy to see that they stood on business. You know what I'm saying?
I was not I was not happy to see him go. I felt like it was bullying. I felt like it was ageism, and I respect my elders a lot, and so I didn't like the force, um how everybody was forcing him. However, I will say as a supporter of Joe Biden, because like I said, this is a Joe Biden household. Joe Biden forgave the student loans of my fiance. So this is a Joe Biden house all day. We were prepared to ride at dawn. That we were loyal followers. um, and so just my personal things aside, I thought he was doing a good job. His record with HBCUs and to some of the policies he's put forth, I was a fan of. And so I was a little bit disappointed to see that. And I didn't like that. It felt like they were bullying an older man because here's the thing, the thing with him calling her Trump, I was like, God damn, Joe, I can't defend this. But I just feel like here's the thing, how I look at it. As an elder, anybody who's worked around an elder who's capable and smart, as you decline, some things slip, some things you may not be as sharp as, but that doesn't mean you're still not smart and still not capable. You're just not as quick as you used to be, which is another case for why we need a younger person or somebody more energized in this position. However, I still have full confidence that Joe Biden could be a president of the United States and take us for another 4 years, or as far as his body will allow us. And so that when I heard the news, this is before Kamala was announced as his
Right,
endorsement. I was just like, oh my gosh, what is the party going to do? Who is it going to be? I felt a little, I wasn't overjoyed. Or
right.
I didn't feel good. Like how like your perspective was not was not so
I
kind.
didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the confidence, and he would have lost, in my opinion, badly.
I didn't
And
think you would have lost. I was like,
he-
who
because
are we
I
gonna
was
else are we
doing
gonna
the.
vote for?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I was doing the trajectory. I would have been like, I was doing like, if the election was 2 months ago, he got this. The election a month ago, the election after the debate, the election after he called Kamala Harris Trump, and then he had one more debate to go. So I just felt, based on the trajectory of the way
Mm,
things were going, that he was going to lose for sure. So, and I just wasn't a fan of a lot of it, and I may be biased because, you know and not to make this super racial, but just, I have to speak from my prism, right? Thank you for the nice jacket compliment, my brother Castro. So I have to speak from my prism. As a black man, we don't get a lot of chances. So I ain't gonna lie to you, it's hard for me to
mm.
see people get so many chances to no, I got this, I got this. I'm so used in my life to be like, oh, you didn't figure it out, like immediately. Next, like any excuse that we don't do things the right way or we slip, we're gone. And they get somebody else. And I deal with this in the business world mostly. Like I have accounts and different things, and I have to go above and beyond to keep the accounts that I have, where other counterparts could make a million mistakes, do all these different things, and
That
don't have to
part,
be scared. You
that
know,
part.
so so maybe that's the racial side of it. From that makes me, although like I understand what you're saying about ageism and stuff like that, but then he's still a white man, and he's still a white man that I'm watching as a black man get multiple chances to try to
That's
get it together.
that's very true. I mean, honestly, that point right there, I totally agree with. And honestly, that's something I'd never thought about, PK. Like that's real shit. Like you're like, why does he get all these chances? And comparing apples to oranges, I don't think 80-year-old Obama, would get the same chances as an 80-year-old Biden.
So that's that part for me. So I was already out of it. So the Kamala situation was like okay now, you know.
You was like, I'm sick of this shit.
I was sick of
Look,
this shit.
okay, so PK, and we're still going with real time. You
Yes,
hear the news of him endorsing Kamala. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was genius. I thought that was Biden's way of sticking it to the Dems and tossing up like his middle finger on his way out because
Mm,
he could have
okay.
easily said, "Hey, I'm going to back out," and let the convention or the process kind of go. But he knew that if he did that, it kind of the hand, right? Because
Yeah, that's a good point.
one thing I tell you, because of how the Dems move, it was already a conversation like being had that we need not to just get rid of Joe, but Joe and Kamala. That was a conversation.
True. That's
It was like,
true.
let's get rid of both of them. Even though she ain't got nothing to do with nothing, you
Mm,
know, let's just get rid of both of them and get some new stuff out of the way. So I felt like what he did was like stick it to the Dems and be like, boom, now y'all gotta figure that out. Because for him to endorse Kamala is almost like the ultimate Dem endorsing Kamala. So all the other ones had to follow suit. And then
No,
you saw when that
definitely.
happened, the money followed.
The money, and then the Clintons were the first big endorsement that I saw. And I said, "Oh, snap." And
Right.
we could talk about Obama's statement because I didn't too much care for it.
It was a little
Um,
shady, right?
it was just he could have came out and endorsed her too. And I'm just like, why would you say an open convention and things like that? Or you're kind of like going to let the party decide. Um, so oh, sorry, y'all giving us compliments, so this is our first time. So when y'all say stuff, it's like, hey, like how you said, oh, thank you, nice jacket. Thank you, mommy. Um, I did my own hair, y'all. So I wanted to be cute tonight. Since it's Black women, Black girl magic with Kamala got that energy going. I wanted to make sure I had my energy flowing. But
always, always, sis.
thank you, BK. And you be having your jacket, so I wanted one too. Um, but yeah, like once I saw that and Obama didn't endorse, I was just like, I didn't care for that because I felt like as a Black man, why not be behind her and support her? And I know that it would be a good look for her. But thank God she didn't need it, right, Robert? And that may be what he's waiting for. But I also feel like this. The Black community has come behind him and rallied behind him. This is a chance for us to show support for a Black woman. I was disappointed that he played the political role and not the Black like this work role, word the funky Doniva. And I was like, it was too political for me. That was a time to be radical to me, and he
But
didn't do
you
it.
you have a good point, Janae. But there's sometimes what I thought of with that too is sometimes there's little nuances that we may not know about. So just imagine this. Just imagine this. Just imagine when Obama was going up for president, and maybe Kamala had an opportunity to say, "Yeah, rock with him," and chose not to. And now he's like,
Was she in this? She wasn't in the Senate then, though.
when he. That's a good point. She was still a prosecutor, right?
Still prosecutor, state attorney for. But here's the thing: maybe he wanted an endorsement from her in California. Maybe she didn't do it. I don't know what the ins and outs of it.
Right, right, right.
I That's a good point, and I don't know if it's even that deep. It could be him just playing politics and things like that. Because I've been hearing rumors around the state of Florida. People plugged in and people plugged into politics are like you said, Obama probably played a role in all of this, and I think the Clintons may have too. Like
A
we
thousand percent he
want
did.
some new blood, and if so they were happy to see the direction he went in. And here's the thing: they poll constantly. They see certain things dropping in a way that we don't as the average person. So maybe something in the numbers showed them that he wouldn't be successful. And here's the thing: outside of the numbers and the polls and people voting for him, the donations dried up. And so somewhere along the line, they felt like the American people, he wouldn't get the popular vote and enough delegates or the what's the shit called electoral college to win.
Right, right, right.
They once the money dried up, that to me forced Joe Biden's hand at that point.
1000%. I heard
And
though, I'm
but
sure it was that, but I heard it was conjunction too that after he got some poll numbers, apparently this is the word on the streets is that he got the poll numbers, and not only did his poll numbers drop, but a lot of the Dems on other tickets polls numbers started
that was the
dropping
thing, the
and down.
down ballot
Yeah.
candidates, they
So
also were
now it's
like
just not even just me. I'm effing it up for everyone now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and he said that he was like, "I wanna do what's right for, I wanna do what's right for the party and keep the country together," and so for that, here's the thing, like, Big Joe Byron, I'll always give him his kudos for what he did because it could have been ego. He could have just been like, "Who are y'all to tell me I'm the sitting president? I wanna go. I feel like I could do it." But he saw the bigger picture and was like, "Why would I destroy the party and potentially the Senate and the legislator with me trying to keep my ego?" And I was just we were watching CNN before we came on, watching the presidential address, and they made that comment. They were like, he is a Senate guy. Like he cares about the legislative branch of government. That's his thing. So if he saw the donors supporting the down ballot candidates having some issues, I think that in him understanding how government works and how our uh our country works when it comes to checks and balances. If we have a weak Senate, we have a weak Congress, then that doesn't help the president or who even him even to be able to do what he needs to do played a role into him dropping out as well.
well, I'll give him some credit, but I still think it was too long. So in my opinion, yes, I'll give him credit to what you're saying, but to me, I thought he was a tad bit selfish because I felt like it was still a little bit too long. Like there was opportunity where you could have given someone a better runway. You understand?
Mm,
And so he did do the right thing ultimately, and I don't want to take that away from him. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm being really, really honest, it was a tad bit too long. Like he should have been out of there like 2 months ago, giving another person more of a runway to now campaign and do all these different things. And so now everybody kind of still scrambling.
yeah. And that's a really good point. And when you think about like Black people always having to do so much with so little, and you're right, with these conversations, even when they first came up, even if that wasn't something that he felt like if it was a possibility, he
Mm,
like you said, it could have been a better go if he would have given her more time, and it feels a little unfair because you
right,
knew this is what people wanted even a year ago, 2 years ago. And I was even hearing from some of the shows, the news shows, that they said when he decided to run in 2020, they always felt like it was just get us to this point. You wouldn't run for reelection. So when he decided to, it was like, what are you doing?
right.
However, I mean, I was down when he said it, but when he announced Kamala, the black girl magic, the black ancestors in me, the black people magic in me was like, yeah, Joe. In my Glorilla voice, yeah, Joe. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
Joe,
like,
I like
like,
that. Yeah, Joe.
I immediately switched my disposition, and I was like, "Oh, I can rock with this." And here's the thing: I'm not even I wasn't a big Kamala fan before this. I was just like, okay,
Got you.
something about her. I wasn't a huge fan. Now, and this is me speaking in my individual capacity as Janey the person. Don't think about my brand or the podcast itself because we're still a nonpartisan platform. But Janey the person is Kamala Harris all day down. Like, let's go. I want to see how far I could go, how much I'm gonna spend, but you already know.
That's what's up. I love it, JT. So on that note, right? Because I
Mhm.
definitely want to get our audience involved.
Yeah,
Um,
I see some of these
what
questions. I want to get to
right?
them.
What do you think people? I want you to answer this because you are the self-proclaimed Biden lover. What
Joe Byron.
what do you think people will remember the most about Biden as president?
I've been drinking some wine, so I'm trying to get the funnies out of my head.
Mhm.
Seriously, um, I think they're gonna remember this moment in time. I think the history books will remember him fondly. I think they will understand the hard choice that he had to make to set ego aside, to set all his political ambitions. Because when you achieve power on this level,
Yeah.
this is something that you've been thinking about and wanting for a very long time. So
Nobody
to
else in the
tell,
world wants to give it up. They want to become
yes.
dictators. Yeah.
So it's like to say, hey, I'm as much as I may want this, as much as I feel like I may be able to um do a good job, if I see this as an issue, I'm going to step back. I think the history books are going to remember him fondly for that. Also, too, I think because of some of the the political upheaval and the assassination attempt and just some of the things that are coming from the far right talking about civil war and things like that and just to bring some peace to the union, also to the voter apathy and people just not being excited about the process and
Yeah.
him just looking at the bigger picture. I think history is going to remember all of the things that went into place into that, and for him as a human being to set aside ego and his own personal ambition to say, hey, this is going to be the better for the future generations if I allow this to happen. I think people are going to really, really respect Joe Biden and his legacy. And
I
I
think
think that
so.
a lot of the policies, even though a lot of people may not like his stance with Palestine and Israel right now, and that may be somewhat of a stain in the future generations. But I do think some of his domestic policies, especially when it comes to spending for HBCUs, things that he's done in that regard.
Student
Um,
loans.
yeah, student loans. I think that they're going to say, "Hey, this guy really tried. He did his best, and he actually left this place in a better, as much as he could, in a better position." I don't think that, of course, the sleepy Joe, as I see, what's up, all like minds in the building, Munch,
Who that?
the
Munch
sleepy.
Munch.
What's up, Munchy Boo?
That's a boy, man.
Uh, um, I think they're gonna make the jokes about his age and Sleepy Joe and him falling. That's gonna be a part of his legacy too. Undoubtedly, that is. Him stuttering. That's gonna be a part of his cognitive ability or people who feel like the lack thereof. Um, that's gonna be a part of his legacy too. But I
Mhm.
think over time, like how we look back at George Washington and Lincoln and all that stuff, those nuances I think will fade over time and the substantive stuff will stick. And I
That's
think
what's
he will
up.
be remembered well. What do you think, BK?
Um, to be honest with you, you kind of touched on the two things. I'm biased because you know us as black people have been deprived of so much and been promised so many things that we have not received over the years. So when I see people actually do good on some promises they make specifically for black people, I want to champion that. I want to give them their props. And all like minds, aka Munch, brought up one with the student loans, and of course you brought up the other one with the HBCUs. And so, uh, and then also picking, a black VP, which was also important to a lot of our black women. So I'll give him that. You know what I'm saying? He definitely, like, listen, people who don't know me, there's things I like about Trump. Not saying I'm a Trump fan, and there's things I appreciate about everyone. I find good in everyone is
As liberal as I am too, there are things I like about Trump as well.
yeah,
Like so, I don't want to like
DeSantis too, all of that. I'm just keeping it a buck because I'm
nothing
gonna
about
be real with
DeSantis.
y'all.
Nothing,
No, there's
nothing.
some
There,
listen, that
there ain't a
tweet,
goddamn thing I like
I don't
about
wanna go off
DeSantis.
into a tangent, but there's some things he put in place that were beneficial. So,
Okay, I'll give you
yeah,
that.
so
I'll
a
give you that.
lot that were damaging, but some that were beneficial. But so I'm saying that to say, like, but when I have to compare, right? Like as much as I enjoy Kodak Black and Lil Wayne and his musical legacy, when I look at Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, and the pardons or helping them out as two young and older, rich black multimillionaires, and then now I look at the student loans, people who really need it, really deserve it. I kind of got to side with Biden on that. You know what I'm saying? So when and that's the problem to me with a lot of black people. We look at the shiny stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow.
Stimmy checks.
Yeah,
Oh, all the stimulus checks. He gave us $1,200. Okay.
right. So, like, so what Trump did, which was pretty genius, is that he exalted our most beloved um blackest rappers, meaning blackest in skin color, and you know, did something for them so that it trickles down to the million of followers who are ignorant to believe that, yeah, you did it for Kodak, who's a millionaire. You did it for Lil Wayne, who's a millionaire. So me, who's in the pork and beans with nothing, yeah, that's for me too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you did it for us.
It's
No,
it's that
jackass. You know what I'm
it's that
saying?
it's that
That's not
cheesiness.
how it works.
Yeah, to me, it felt like this is all you need to see in order for you to support me because this is all you care about. It's like when you see the rappers that he have or his platinum plan that he had before and getting certain people to support him, the black jobs and them saying him getting shot will make people feel like he's more or getting convicted, make him feel like he's more relatable to black men. And I'm like, you see us so reduced and at such a low level, and then you think that this is all it takes to appeal to us for your support. To me, the fact that some black people who support him aren't seeing that side of it is really sad to me and really disappointing to me. But it just goes to show like the part that you said, like there are certain things about Trump that you like. The thing I like about Trump is his boldness, and also too, he's great at marketing and promotion. And he
What?
understands the
I
psyche
love
of
his
what it takes.
disrespect.
Yes. It's I don't like his disrespect, but
I
it's his
love his
he's a
disrespect.
great marketer. He understands, and the thing is, the people fall for it. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And here's the real talk on just a side tangent. There needs to be a civic lesson for everybody in the fucking country from age 2 to 102. Because we don't understand how government and politics and policy works, we could see something like a platinum plan or Kodak getting pardoned and think this is why you should vote for a presidential candidate. That's not how any of this works. Like we need to be educated.
Here's
We
another
have
joke too.
what?
Here's another joke, right? I work on a hip hop station. So listen, we play Sexy Red, right? Say what you want. I have some friends, some that are in this chat room right here. How could you listen
Point
to
them out.
Sexy Red? How could you listen to Sexy Red? It's the same type of ignorance that's being transferred in the political space. So
Mhm.
if you're disgusted by Sexy Red, and listen, I like all different types of music for different reasons, right? So I have an appreciation for Sexy Red, as ratchet as she is, and as ignorant
I
as she
I
comes
I
across.
do too. Some of them songs,
Thank you.
I
But
like
you
them.
have some people that'll be like, "Oh, how could you?" and da 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 da, and then they'll still want to turn around and justify what Trump is doing. So then it makes me think, like, is it us? Like us? Like, what is it? Like, I know there's been billions of dollars, and I know there's been so much that has been put into brainwashing us as a people. I do get that. But with the invention of this and the information, although some of it can be misleading, it's still something. You know what I mean? Versus climbing on a chair and having to pull in an encyclopedia and that's it. We have so much information now that we can kind of educate ourselves. And I think that's where the problem lies, to your point, is that nobody would, nobody will take the time to educate themselves on those things like they would trying to find out who's slamming who or who in the shade room doing this and that and the other.
I I agree, and I think so. I also think I blame it on our education system, and I also think because there are examples of different developed countries that don't engage with policy and politics like this. And so I was watching Funky Dineva, Quentin Funky Dineva. He's a media personality. He has a YouTube show, and he was interviewing comedian, activist, political commentator Amanda Seals. And so she made a comment about South Africa and how they protest. She was like, protest is a part of their culture. And so when she said that, it kind of made me think about like other people around the world don't engage with politics and policy the way we do. Some of them are more engaged and active enough, and it's a cultural thing. Even
Right.
like France, changing out there, like doing something similar with weeks within the election, changing candidates, and because they saw that they were losing, and it wasn't a big deal, like in their country, or like they were able to pull it off. And so I'm like, for us, I think it's not in our culture to be educated. I think that's by design. I think that if we really taught our students in our public school systems about civics, and made it like one of those courses, like how the FCAT was, or all these standardized tests were, like if we taught our students like real world things that they're going to need to use every day, I think we will see a difference in how people engage. Because I think, like you said, to your point, people aren't doing the research for themselves because they don't know what's important for them to do it, because no one ever taught them to. And if you weren't,
Right.
you grow up in a house with someone teaching you that, like of course everybody took the civics class and social studies class, but it doesn't hit the way it should as an adult. And for me, growing up in a house, seeing my grandmother, RIP, Carrie Elizabeth Tate, seeing my mom, who's in the chat, Velveeta Tate, and my aunt walk to the polls every
Mm.
election. They worked for a county government. So they were part of unions. So they understood how policy, especially local policy, affected their job. So it's like, oh, the union is behind this. And I remember my grandma like even coming home reminding them, hey, it's we could vote early. Y'all gotta vote. Remember to vote. Like this is what I saw as a kid. So for me, it started really early, seeing that example of being civically engaged. And so if you don't come from a household where people are teaching you that, you may not know the importance of it. And our country doesn't do a good job of making sure that we know that it's important. I think that's by
By
design.
design. That part. All
That
right.
part.
Let's get back to you want to let me look in some in the
But
comments
I
and
was gonna
see if
say,
we
let's
can.
answer some questions while we got the people on the land. Since
All right.
y'all scary. Y'all supposed to be coming on the show. I thought some of y'all was gonna
Oh,
talk
we got
y'all
a good
shit.
one. We got a good one. This one is from West Side.
Okay.
Shout out to West Side. I did his podcast the other day.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
the one I've been
good. Hey,
posting.
West Side. Let's put
Shout
it
out
on
to
the screen.
West
And
Side.
you
He
talking about this?
said right there, what do you think? What do y'all think would be the best candidate for vice president to run with Kamala Harris?
Hmm. Somebody white and male and straight.
So, I'm ready to can I dive in?
Go in, because I got a few on my mind, but I want to hear
Okay.
yours.
All right. So um clearly that's going to be very key, right? So my thought was, and just remember this name. I don't know if it's going to come about, but retired Admiral William McRaven. He's out of
Okay.
Texas. He's out of Texas.
Is he
Just,
currently in office?
he's one to watch.
Okay.
Right? He's a professor. He's one. He has a couple books in similar fashion to the VP. that guy just got into office like what a couple months ago. He's
Really? You talking about Trump's VP
yeah,
pick?
wrote a book. So anyway, military, Texas. Okay, because here's what the Dems are not gonna do. So to me, I figured this guy by default, and I don't know if it's gonna happen. Gavin Newsom. We don't need two people from California. Bye.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right. After that, what do I have?
Pete Buttigieg.
They're not gonna do a gay and a woman. Bye. They're not gonna do a
He,
woman and a
he
woman.
is a woman?
I said no, they're not gonna do a gay person and a woman.
Oh, pair it with a woman. Okay, I was
Paired
gonna
with a
say,
woman.
wait, what?
Woman to woman
Sorry.
is the next one. Because
That's
there's another young lady from she's a governor actually. Gosh, the one that they had
from
convicted those
Detroit.
guys for threatening her. I forgot her
She's from
name.
Detroit, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen because they wouldn't have
Mm-mm,
two women on the ticket. Then I thought about Shapiro. Everybody's talking about Shapiro out of Pennsylvania.
mhm.
The Jewish
Jewish.
Gaza thing,
Mm,
although we know Jewish people run things and they have a big say here in America, but it's still a little sticky with what's happening, whether you agree with it or not, it's just the reality, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of like boiling down to this guy that I just mentioned, that I want you to remember his name, because I think he may come into play out of the blue, just like how Trump, nobody would have figured that guy to be Trump's VP. He came out of the blue, right? He was nowhere to be found. So listen out for retired Admiral William McRaven. And then I have one more spoiler that I thought would be so cool if it happened, but it probably is never going to happen. What about Bernie Sanders?
Oh,
How
I would
crazy would that be?
I would love that.
That would be my
I
pick.
would I would love that, but I don't think that the people, I don't think the donors would care for that. I think the people will rock with it, but I don't think the
Right.
donors will rock with it. But like I told you, is that guy from Texas who you're talking about, is he straight, white, and male?
Yes.
That's what they're gonna do. To me, they're gonna follow the Obama formula where when everybody was trying to figure out who was gonna be his VP pick, and it was like, who could it be? Who could it be? And it couldn't be more straight, more white, and more male than Joe Biden, like and an
Right.
older man too. So he was able to appeal to a different demographic in the country to be able to pull in those votes. And you
Yeah.
and there's still it's still a number game. And as much as we don't want to admit it, white people still outnumber all everybody in demographics, especially when it comes to engaging in politics. So it's like if you
Especially
can't
when
speak
it
to
comes to
middle,
voting.
yeah, when it comes to voting, they outnumber us. So if you can't speak to middle America, if you can't speak to those people in the heartlands in the South, because the
Yep.
coastal elites, the liberals, they're gonna rock with Kamala. Those whites, they're gonna those white
I
people who
like how you
speak.
call them the coastal elites. Is that really a thing?
Yeah, that's the thing. The coastal
East
elites, they're
Coast,
gonna
West
rock.
Coast. Yeah.
Yes, the Cali, the New York, the Philly, all of those people over there, the Jersey whites, they're gonna rock with her. But you gotta get the Georgia, the Texas, the Louisiana, the middle, Midwest people, and it's gonna be a straight white man. I could promise you that. And I
Right.
wish it could be Bernie, but um, they ain't putting any money behind that.
Gotcha.
Do we have another question? I want to take another one. Let's see. Let's see. Somebody else had something good. That was a good question that I saw from West Side. Um, I'm going through. Let's see. Commercial Kings, you are in there cutting up.
Don't call them commercial kings, because that's a company that's owned with his brother, who does not see things the way he sees it. So let's call him by who he really is, Kalox.
Castro,
Kalox.
Kalox.
Yeah.
Look, but here's the thing, and we both know him. He's in the comments as his company. That's
I
like me.
know. And his
That's like
brother
me.
hates it. And his brother hates it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
I don't see any more questions. Uh, Tammy, if you see one, put it up there for us. But here's the thing, and we talked about the what happened this weekend. First of all, let's give a shout out to Win with Black Women and Win with Black Men for raising almost $3 million. They're two separate groups. They're a collective of individual women, Black women and Black men who came together to support um, Kamala Harris. And actually, Win with Black Women started 4 years ago to support Kamala Harris. And um, they've been working for the last 4 years. They meet every a Sunday, and they have state chapters. I've attended some of the Florida chapter meetings, and so I'm getting even more involved in that for this election as well. So y'all stay tuned. All my women friends, you'll be getting text messages from me. But they had more than they crashed Zoom. They underestimated how many women wanted to attend. They said they usually have meetings, and I'm trying to be selective on what I say because it's a private conversation. But there were some things they said could go out to the press. So they usually have an average of 500 women across the country that attend this.
Mhm.
More than 50,000 women were trying to get on that call. And I think once they were able to get the CEO of Zoom to increase their capacity, 45,000 women stayed on that call. I was on that call until 1 o'clock in the morning. It started at
Wow.
8:30. it was a marathon. It was like reminiscent of like the old school United Negro College Fund, like telethons. And I was telling my best friend that today. Shout out to Julius, he's in the chat watching the show too. And so I'm like, it gives that type of energy, like that telethon energy or whatever. What up, Donovan Campbell? Shout out to our favorite
Donovan,
sports reporter. Hey,
now you
hey,
get to
it's
see
Channel
us on
7.
TV, my boy.
I know, or your phone.
Shout out to Donovan.
And so, Win with Black Women, amazing night. Then Florida comes back the next day with 2,000 people. And I've attended those calls, and there are an average of 50 people that are on the call. 2,000, more than 2,000 women showed up from across Florida. And so there is yeah, if you were, shout out to the women who were on that call that night. And so you see this energy that is bubbling. And then When with Black Men was birthed, and you got Roland Martin and Bakari Sellers and all of the Divine Nine and all these different organizations came together and said, we don't want the women to outdo us. And it's like a friendly competition going on. And they
Right.
did their own type of telethon for 4 hours, and they raised, I know, over $1 million on the on their for their fundraiser, and they're having people sign up for volunteers, both organizations, and canvassing. And so, to me, I've been talking about this, and I wanted to get your thought on it. This feels Obama like, in a sense of the
It
energy, the
is.
that organic energy that everybody. And here's the thing: the white women had a win with white women version call Monday night, and then during the call, Anna Navarro, y'all don't kill me when with black women, but Anna Navarro joined and was like, "Don't leave us Spanish women out." And it was like, whoa, what's going on? And then when the donations started coming in, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
how do you feel? What do you think about this energy that's happening right now? Like, it's something in the zeitgeist, something is in the
I love
atmosphere
it.
that's different.
It's like, all right, it's like the Drake song, 0 to 100 real quick. We all know this is America, right? Where we love when things happen and the excitement and all these different things. We literally went from zero, and I'm not calling Joe Biden a zero. I'm just saying, from like, hold on there, Joe, you're hanging on by a thread, to like someone who's articulate, someone who's smart, someone who can speak well, looks good, someone who's a former prosecutor, you know what I mean? And now they're billing it as the convict versus the prosecutor, right? Which
Yes, I love the matchup.
I know, but Desmond Meade from Florida Rights Restoration hates it because it does kind of, make things difficult for, the whole returning
The work that he's
citizens
doing.
vibe.
Yeah.
And I get that. So I'll just acknowledge him in that way for sure, because I understand his fight in that. But, they're still pitching it as that. You know what I mean? So it is exciting. You know what I mean? It's almost like what you said before. It's like, you're in the ring, your grandfather's in the ring with another grandfather, but another grandfather that got the edge on him. He's like beating him down, and your grandfather's almost down for the count, and then your grandson comes in the ring.
Tap me in, granddaddy.
Yeah, you're gonna be
Yeah.
excited. You know what I'm saying? And then you would still figure this older man would have the more experience to still take on the grandkid and still overpower him. But you're just so excited to see that the grandkid can step in and really, you know what I'm saying, do something, and it is invigorating. And it's a great time for women. I've been saying it for the last, I want to say, 3 years, or since the pandemic. It's been a shift with women, and just things that they've been fighting for years, things that you guys have deserved for years. We're now seeing these opportunities come, and you not even just the opportunities coming, but y'all flourishing within them. You know what I'm saying? And leadership roles and doing well. And I've always known that women are amazing leaders, and I've always loved to work with women specifically because they get things done and they kind of put egos aside when it's a bigger picture involved, right? So now for the world to see it, and now for women to have all these opportunities to be on top, you know what I mean? So this just indicative of that. This opportunity now that Kamala has.
Yeah, like, and I totally agree with you. And honestly, to me, unfortunately, it took, y'all bullying an 81-year-old man out of his seat for us to get here. But however we had to get to the water, I'm glad we are here. And this is the thing I was talking about with my best friend earlier with everything. I was telling him that there is something even different with how people are engaging and getting information about it because so much in the past when it came to presidential candidates, especially with Obama, I think people have learned. We were all excited and it was like, yeah, let's get him elected, but we didn't go in with the agenda. We didn't ask, and speaking specifically as a Black collective. We were so caught up in the hype of getting him elected that we forgot to do the ask. That is a part of the civic process. You elect people to do your bidding, to do work for you. And so we did that. And we're surprised that there weren't specific things in the agenda for us because we didn't ask for them and we didn't have a infrastructure in place to enforce it. And so when you saw gay rights and different policies for other groups coming along, it was like, well, he didn't do this for us and he didn't do this. And here's the thing, he had to kind of do it neatly. So there are a lot of policies with the Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act and different things that he did that affected Black people. But there was no national agenda. There was no organization. There was no movement to push our agenda forward for certain things that we want. And so, exactly. So um, it was like now I think people are watching this in a different way. And they're saying, I'm
That's a
going to be
good point.
educated on this system. I want to know how this works because the last time we did this with Obama, we didn't get what we wanted. We did this with Biden too. We didn't get what we wanted. We keep
Mhm.
electing these people. And so I feel like people are engaging in a different way to understand the process of what we need to do to take advantage of having somebody who's an ally, who cares about the policies, who's, on that side of things. And I also think we need to get a little bit bold and say, hey, we did this for you. We raised this money. We volunteered. We got you elected. And if you don't do this, you're not getting that support again and you won't get reelected. And we got
Like
to stay
like
so
like the
firm.
Jews do, like, you know,
Every group
every
with
group does.
power does it.
Here's
Come on
here's where I
now.
think we messed up. Here's where I messed up. So I can only talk for me. I voted for Obama. And I always say this. I voted for Obama twice because he was Black, right? I wanted to see that. I needed to see that. And for me, I assumed he was going to do right by us, right? So that's where I went wrong, is
Okay.
that I assumed, and you're right, I didn't have a demand. I didn't even understand what I wanted. I was so hyped and caught up. So you're absolutely right. And I think we assumed. And
I don't like that you said he didn't do right by us because that's not how any of this works. It
well,
doesn't work like that. It
well,
doesn't.
it doesn't. You're right. You're absolutely right.
He
It
ain't
absolutely, you're
the
right.
people don't
You're right.
understand how the
You're right.
presidency work. There's a whole cabinet that
You're
goes
right.
into he's
You're
not a
right.
dictator.
You're right.
He can't just push
You're
something
right.
forward.
But it was just so interesting to see. And I'm so happy for my gay brothers and sisters. Very happy for them, deserving. But it was a difficult watch to see people who were in the back of the line, in the sense of,
Yeah.
you know, who's been in the fight for justice, just come in front of you and just be like, it's an interesting
Ain't
story.
nobody tell y'all how to get your food
Yeah, yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah. It's an interesting story that I had as a just a young person, and I just want to share this with y'all, right? So years ago, I used to work for this company in New York called Headquarters, right? They used to rent office space to different companies, right? Um, just like a workplace, like, they got all of them now called work and different things. Anyway, so I used to work in the office and I used to deliver the mail to the different businesses and go around in a cart and drop off the mail to everybody, right? So there was this company called Sky Vodka. So
Oh, I remember
Sky
that.
Vodka, huh? You remember that,
I know
right?
Scott Baku. Yeah.
So Sky Vodka was developed um, from I don't know if it was a man or woman, but it was a I don't know especially when it comes to like stuff with speaking about gay. I hate to be politically incorrect, so please forgive my ignorance, and I would like to even send that message to a lot of the gay community. Like, we don't know a lot of the times. We're trying, so have grace with us, because I just don't know how to say shit sometimes. All right, but I mean well. But it was a gay vodka. It's the only thing I can say because I don't know the owner, but it was launched as a like a gay vodka or vodka for gay people, right? Whether the
Mhm.
owner was gay. And it was a black guy in the office. And I'm just young and not understanding and trying to figure things out. And I was able to talk to him every day, dropping off the mail, and had a conversation with and was able to like feel comfortable enough to have a conversation saying, how does it feel to be black and gay? And this was years ago. So this was just to give some context to it. This was not now where things are a lot more acceptable. This is like 30 years ago.
Wow.
Okay. 30 years ago. All
So
right.
the 90s? In the 90s?
Yes. Yes. All right. How does it feel to be black and gay and receive like discrimination on both sides? Like, how do you manage both of them? People discriminating against you because you're gay, and people discriminating against you because you're black, and you're both. And that just and you know, and that I was just so intrigued by that. You know what I mean? And he says it just kind of balances out for him because discrimination to him is just discrimination, is what he said. So whether they're discriminating him
Mm,
against, you know, him because he's gay or black, he just views it all as discrimination. You understand what I'm
mhm,
saying? But to bring it to the point that I'm trying to make, it's just I just felt like as though like, you know, we've been fighting the black struggle for so long. And then now when I looked at that situation with Obama, or I looked at what or how the gay community was able to advance, you know, so quickly, um, it made me look like, well, his gay discrimination was able to see some level of comfort before his black discrimination.
mm. And I totally understand that perspective as a Black person. I get how that feels, especially if you don't know, like, everything that goes into policy, and how that works. It I can see how that feels, um, like that. And also too, and thank you, this is a great point. There's a lot of gay white men in
Ah,
that push as well. And
okay,
so thank you for that point, Jay James. Um, but I think that that was the I think that was a part that made people disenchanted with the process and understanding and feeling like Obama wasn't for them. And And I get that. I get
right,
that totally, and I'm not gonna discredit anybody's feelings for that. I just understand the process a little bit more, and so even though I wish we had gotten something too, but I'm almost like and I can't remember the organization, guys, please forgive me, GLAD, like, those type of organizations. I was also disappointed that our legacy or groups, and I'm not gonna say any of the letters and those names because I don't wanna, call some people out, but I'm like, "Why didn't you guys go in and advocate for us?" And, sometimes word on the street is sometimes those groups do go in and advocate, and they go out and get something specific for them. They
them.
don't go they don't go and get something for us. And
And
what
you
and what was
made
it
and you
what?
made a point that I would love to bring to our audience because I want you to own it, right? And you deserve to own it, Janae, because a lot of people don't know there's a lot of intelligence that comes with that beautiful face you got over there, right? Janae said the same way how they talking about Project 2025, why is there not a black project, so to speak?
Mhm.
And I want you to expound on that.
I I feel like, and thank you, and also too, I wanna acknowledge this comment and friend, if you okay with that, and this is a good point is too that we also gotta remember, the gay white agenda is very powerful. And even within their group, there's discrimination and levels of racism that exists. And
Yeah.
so there's still that thing too. That still kind of plays into all of that
For
as
sure.
well with the gay agenda and how they get things, how they, because here's the thing, it's still a man, a white man pushing something too. So that's,
Right.
I think things will look different if it was gay black men or gay LGBTQ plus people of color who were only pushing that. It wouldn't
Right.
get passed. It wouldn't get passed. But to your point about the Project 2025, I said that I was like, I immediately, when I kept hearing all the, we need to know what they doing to us and we need to see this plan and we need to understand Project 2025. I was just waiting, like just me, a regular person, Janae, in my own personal capacity. I was waiting for the NAACP or Urban League or any group or even the Democrats or some liberal group to say, yeah, they was working on this. But guess what? We've been working on our own version of Project 2025. And that's the thing about the Republican Party or conservatives that I actually respect. They
Too.
plan, they market, they're loyal, they educate, and they're really good at organizing and planning. And I was like, so they have this plan. Where is ours? Why are we sitting here trying to decipher what they've already started implementing and have in place? Where the fuck is our plan? Why weren't we thinking to be that forward thinking and say, hey, this is what we want to see in policy for the type of world that we want? And the thing is, this from what I've learned and seen from about Project 2025 is it's a group of organizations that put this together. It's not one person leading this. This is a group of
Over a
different,
hundred.
yes. So who said,
Over
you know
one
what?
hundred.
They were like, let's say we all are on one accord. So I'm like, why didn't the Divine Nine and the Urban League and the NAACP and the SELC and SNCC and all any other black focus groups say, and the BETs, let's talk about media, because I can promise you it's probably some for-profit or business people in that group. Why didn't all of our black infrastructure, Tyler Perry Studios, Oprah Winfrey, I'm calling out all of y'all, Jay-Z, Diddy, like Beyonce, everybody, why
You
didn't
did
we?
not just say Diddy.
Oh, I did say Diddy, but not Diddy. No Diddy. I literally forgot that we ain't fucking with him. I'm not fucking with him.
I'm
This just
dead.
made this just made everything invalid that I just said. No Diddy. But even still, okay, revolt. Okay, but here's the T, and that's another issue because we be always got shit going on. We can't organize. Let's talk about
Oh
that.
boy.
Real true T. But why didn't all of our institutions in our celebrities and influencers come together and say, hey, let's do our own plan. We don't have to wait on anybody. Y'all getting me in the comments about this Diddy. I'm sorry. I'm not, I didn't mean it. But I
You
don't
did it real quick,
understand.
though, Janelle. You did it real quick. I'm
I'm
sorry that
glad you
I
caught it
called
because
you out.
I didn't. This is how much he's a part of culture. I ain't even catch the shit. So I'm sorry, y'all. But back it's more so like why are, and I still haven't heard anything about a plan. I don't even know if y'all meeting secretly and y'all doing something, let us know because I just I don't even know where, and to me that's an issue. And I'm hoping that out of this new movement that's coming along, that some planning and organizing comes together because y'all we give away our votes so easy and our money now so easy. They could just we just be getting hunched on and don't get nothing in return. I'm gonna talk like a Miami girl. You better get you a bag. You better get you a car. You better get you a house. Like Janae, no, just like you better get you something out the deal. We be getting
Just
hunched on.
Santos.
Thank you, baby. But we can't we get black people as a voting group get hunched on and get
Yeah.
nothing in return. And I'm sorry if y'all don't like my analogy, but I'm from Miami and that's a part of our culture for some people. And I
They
support the
here
naked
for
hustle.
it. They here for it.
I support the
We
naked
not your
hustle.
mama's podcast.
We're not your mama's podcast.
We
But
Janae's mama's podcast, but not your mama's podcast.
and the truth is we need to start looking at it as a transactional thing. We look at it as this, oh, God gave us this time, and the Lord said we gotta bless this person and anoint this person, and this is that wine that's talking, y'all. But look at PK. And the Lord said it's our time, and it's a and we gotta do it. And we think of it as this it's spiritual, emotional thing, and it is not. It is business. It is
Oh my God.
transactional. Transactional. We
So,
do something, we get something in return. Okay.
Janey, before we go off on a tangent, we got a couple of questions that are
Okay.
leading with debate. So let's jump on that real quick. All right. So we're getting
Where'd you see
some
that?
questions with people talking about a Kamala Harris versus Trump debate. What are your thoughts?
I like this question, Thompson. Should Kamala go really hard at Trump in the debate because it could backfire because how black women are depicted?
What you mean, the mad black woman, the angry black
The
woman?
angry black woman, the neck, the roll. And I say, and this is me, and I think my age, my millennialism may come out in this response, but I want her to go for it. And I'm like, F the response. And this is where I think messaging and organizing and being on one accord comes into play. Because here's the thing, what if the Democratic Party and all these groups are doing? If we know that she's gonna go hard and she's gonna get him together and eat him alive and read him for filth, then immediately messaging need to be going out. There need to be already be a press release and statements already going out. Yes, Kamala, like to counter the narrative from the right, because it's going to come. But if they're organized in that way to say we're going to immediately release messaging that counters that rallies her, that cheers her on for being a strong black woman, for standing up for herself, then I think you can offset some of that. Because we know, here's the thing, and we were talking about this privately, PK, about her personal life, her being slut shamed and who she'd been dating. Like they're gonna come at her regardless as a black woman. And it's triggering as a black woman to watch it, really, because
Yeah,
Roland
I saw
Martin.
something on the gram that I
Mhm.
couldn't even believe was on Instagram today.
What?
Her in the Oval Office, bent over on a desk, ass out, like if she's ready to get back shots on
On it?
Instagram. Kamala Harris. I mean, obviously it's AI,
Yeah,
but
but
it
that
was
type
just
of
wild
that would
disrespectful.
break that would break my heart to see that.
Wild disrespectful. Wow. I didn't even think that was funny. I didn't think it was a joke. I didn't
Yeah.
I looked at it like if somebody did that to my mom.
Yeah. I
Like,
don't
yo,
and
we've been through enough of that. You know what I'm saying? Look, if you thought that was funny, look at it the same way that you would look at a lynching. That's how I looked at it.
yeah.
I looked at it as like if I walked up and I seen a black man hanging from a tree. That was a modern
Mm.
day depiction of like that to me.
Yes.
So
Because it's
hold on to that. If you want to joke and the internet always wins and all that bullshit y'all be with, that's what that was for me. That's how
it's
disrespectful I took that and thought of that. And my co-host on the radio was even more, and she's not even a black woman. And she was just so
wow.
like,
But she's a woman of color, and just any
yeah,
woman, we all understand that energy. It doesn't feel good. Like you even describing that to me, something in my spirit sunk.
yeah, it was
And
horrible.
being an
I hope you don't
educated
see it.
person, yeah,
I hope
you
you don't see it.
being reduced to that. Like I saw Megan Kelly calling her a whore. I saw people calling her, like, said she slept her way to the top. And I'm
Mhm.
like, it's always being reduced to your vagina for people. Like, I'm like, come on,
But then
like
they
it's
don't talk about. But here's the thing about it: it's always that, right? It's always
and it's
like those
not even
narratives.
true a lot of the times. And it's like, but it's just so easy to just a lazy read of a woman that they always do.
But to your point, that's why I think she needs to. I agree with you, and I think she needs to go at Trump hard because it's the same thing. Nobody wants to talk about Trump with the pedophilia, with him going on that island and all these different things, right? And then the many different things, that he said with his own mouth, But
Exactly.
um, to
We gotta
me,
have her back. We gotta have her back. Like if she goes hard, because like to your point about the depiction of her in the Oval Office, that disgusting picture, they're already coming at her. So here's the thing, they're gonna come at her regardless. So I think she should be able to go hard because you know what that's gonna do for her supporters and even people in between. And this is what Democrats have not been doing. They have not been coming hard and showing that we got y'all back, that we don't care. We in this fight with you. We've been waiting to see somebody go at them just as hard as they go at the other side. Like we've been waiting for
like,
the Dems to go hard.
like
So if she does
I
that,
want her to AOC that.
oh my
I
God,
want her
I
to
want her to
AOC
Jasmine
that.
Crockett, uh,
Yeah.
bleach blonde, bad built butch, body them hoes. Like go. I want her to go hard, and we just got to have
Yeah.
her back.
Yep.
That was a great question about the debate. I think it should happen. 'Cause here's the thing. I think that, and from some of the people who are saying, and think about this, Trump wasn't prepared to go against her. I think I heard, I was listening to something. They said that he could be a little nervous. Like some of the things he's showing signs that he's a little nervous to go against her because he can't just do the old thing and the slow thing to her. Because even when he
Right.
called her dumb, um, like he was like, she's dumb. It felt so stupid. It was like,
Because
dumb,
it
like,
didn't have any
really?
basis to it. It didn't
Y
have
but
any
it felt like
dumb
when he was
what?
coming at when he was coming at Joe and calling him old and stuff, it felt like, "Yeah, I see why."
Right,
Like,
right, right, right.
that felt just like, "Sir, what you mean?" Like,
So let me hit you with this. And I know we don't have much time left. And listen, we appreciate y'all so much. Please subscribe. I know we got a few
we
people
got a
in here.
lot of people in the
Please,
comments.
yeah, thank you so much. Please subscribe at this time, man. We have fun. We do this in series. We have some amazing shows and guests that we already have lined up and locked in. This is a freestyle one that we did based on what was happening and all the different news that came in. But we'll go back to our amazing guest next week. But we asked you to subscribe and please follow us on Instagram at that part podcast 305 and also share this as well. It means a lot to us. Y'all know Janey and I, most of you in this room. So if you can spread the word, it'll mean a lot to us personally. Whether um, agree with half of the shit we say or not, man, we appreciate your support. Um, I will say, this, Janae, is that regardless of what the outcome is, with Kamala and Trump, I think this is a pivotal time in our country. You know what I mean? I think this is
Mhm.
really, really a pivotal time in our country. This is a time where like we all need to kind of like look at ourselves, if never before, and really kind of take account to like what do we want, where are we going, you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
and as a collective, who do we want to be as a nation? And obviously I can't control who's racist and who's this and who's that. There's just gonna be some people who just not gonna like me for the color of my skin, but it leads me into this to say like ultimately is racism on the ballot. And when I say that, and I jotted this down in our notes, meaning, are we really going to be divided as a people based mostly on our presidential choices at this point? Like,
Yeah.
like, even if you look at both as not being the best, right?
They're
Then what
human,
is it?
they're not.
Right. So is it going to boil down to that? Like I said it earlier, like I voted for Obama because he was black, right? And I've been a fan of some Republican candidates because of financial reasons. If you make
And that's
over,
fair, and that's
yeah,
okay.
you make over a certain amount of money, they kind of speak in your language. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm not big, although I'm heavy in the community, I'm not big on handouts as much as I am on opportunity. I think opportunity
Mhm.
is going to help us as a people more than handouts, right? Those are just temporary fixes. But is it really racism on the ballot if it's a Kamala Harris and Donald Trump presidential race?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was easy.
It is on the ballot, and unfortunately, we have a country that is rooted in racism and white supremacy that has not ever been atoned and fixed. And so at the end of the day, there are a lot of people who still believe in some of those antiquated, barbaric, stupid as fuck ideologies. And so unfortunately for some people, even if and it's sad to say, even if Kamala was in their best interest, and she would probably have policies that would benefit their life most because she's a black woman or biracial woman or woman of color, whatever, because now people are saying she ain't black enough or whatever. Um, whatever she is, she ain't white. They're not going to vote for her because of this color of her skin. And so I just want to keep the hope that that faction of people in the country is not the majority and that's not the whole, and that's a small in comparison to the entire country, because there are millions of people who feel that way. Look at the RNC, and those people there, and a lot of those people that we see with the MAGA hats and the Confederate flags. It's millions of them, but I like to think they're a smaller percentage than what we think. And I like what Munch said in the comments, all like minds of like how black folks have been used by technology and bots and media and certain messaging make us think that things are bigger or more grand than what they are because they're louder. Um, I just hope that that percentage of the country is not as big as the other. We know that they're loyal and they'll go out and vote, but I'm hoping that, like we said earlier, that this energy activate something in people to be motivated to take their life in their hand, because like I like what you always say, PK, like we all have that one vote. It's the one, it's a great equalizer, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And I'm hoping that people finally see it that way. It's like this is my power, you know?
definitely. Listen, we've been vibing on, I don't know how you feel, Janae, but I'm exhausted.
Oh, I'm
we have we have another interview tomorrow.
oh my
Right.
yay. Yay.
You just
And
traveled today.
I know. I just traveled, and I totally forgot in the sense of like I'm excited about that interview.
Uh-huh.
But I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking we have some days to rest in between.
We don't.
Um,
So on that note, and just wanting to end off on a high note, I want to thank everyone who engaged with us. Oh, I'm drinking scotch, Kevin Chung,
hey
and
Kevin, you don't want to know what I'm drinking? I'm drinking wine.
I was drinking scotch, Johnny Walker. We just really want to thank y'all so much because again, we know a lot of y'all are family and friends, and we depend on y'all to really keep this stuff going. And this is something new that we have embarked on, and we're gonna let y'all in on a little secret. Like this is our first series, and we're doing really well with this. We're getting some really good guests. We have some more amazing guests. Like our next two shows are gonna be our last two shows for the first series. Right? It's 8 in
Yeah,
the series.
yeah.
We're gonna take a little hiatus, and then we're gonna be back in September. And boy,
September 11th, our first show back.
yes, we have something in store for you in September. We're taking things to another level. We're already working on some surprises for you um in the second series. So listen, we fund this ourselves. We refuse to have asked anybody. Fine wine, Janae. we we refuse
Thank you,
to,
Kevin.
ask anybody for any donations, but moving forward in the realm that we'd like to, we know we're gonna have to step it up a notch, and we'll get to that point. But we just wanted to prove ourselves to y'all. Janae has been doing this. This is my first podcast, but Janae has been doing this via High Low News. But us, as a
Sir,
combined doing this,
you have a radio show, sir.
meaning like the podcast, like the real pays me to do this. Like we be putting out little change together to make this shit happen. and now we're trying to do live shows, and we have some amazing stuff in store for them. So I just want to have them buy into and have a better understanding of where we're going with this, what we're trying to do, how invested we are in this, and how much we appreciate their support.
No, and I'm glad you broke that down. And I honestly feel like that's the cool thing about doing a show like this. We could be vulnerable, we could share information with the audience. And so if you guys are liking it, make sure y'all put some hearts in the comments. Let us know how y'all like it. Oh, JJ said he want more live shows. I was just gonna ask that. Do y'all like this format with me and PK just talking shit with y'all and y'all engaging with us in the conversation? I think we should definitely do more of this. But like guys, if you want to us to be able to continue to do this, we need y'all support. We need y'all to share it. We need y'all to, help us with if there are guests that you could connect us to that you want to see. That's always a good thing. And I mean, we haven't started taking advertising yet, but please, if there are people, we will take the ad dollars. Like this is how you fund projects like this, like ad dollars and sponsorship dollars. And so, like PK said, we have some really big plans in place for season 2. But if y'all want a season 3, we need y'all support. Like for real, for real. We need y'all to get in this with like give us some telethon love. Let us raise $1 million, please. Like
For
we need
real,
y'all to
for
share
real.
this with people who, if it's not you, share with people who you think will invest and support us, because we know that there is a need that we're filling in the market. people like this. Kevin, we were trying to do call-ins and y'all wasn't giving it. We put the link in the chat and nobody wanted to hop on. Y'all was scared today. We'll see. Maybe next episode y'all will jump on. But we need that support. And I'm, selfishly and humbly asking, like, support us, because that's how this is going to be able to be sustainable, because it's not easy to do this on our own. This is a labor of love for us right now. Like, we put in a lot of work weekly to do
Right.
this. Y'all don't even understand. Sometimes me and PK are like falling asleep afterwards, like just trying to put it together. Like, but that's how important this work is to us. That's how important educating people and giving people who look like us, people our age, a younger demographic, a show that they can digest this information, a place to talk about their feelings and things that they're thinking about the world around them. And so this is important. And I know people think it's important, but y'all gotta, step up a little bit and help us as well. Cause, we're carrying it right now on our back and we want to continue it, but we need it to be sustainable. So if
And
you
we're
guys
not
have
even
any
asking you for
ideas,
money right now. We're
yeah,
asking you for support.
yes, just
And you see it
share
on
it.
Instagram all the
Yeah.
time about how many memes there are about how Black people don't support each other and all these different things. And so this is what we talk about. We ain't even asking for handouts. We ain't even passing the collection plate. We just
Yet.
simply ask you to share it yet and subscribe to it. That's our strong ask for you
Yeah.
right now. So that at least
Best
we
ask
know it makes
right
sense to
now.
y'all and we'll continue to do it. If it doesn't make
If
sense
y'all
to
like
y'all, we stop.
y'all, somebody said y'all new black jobs.
Scientists.
Uh, I'm like, and I thank y'all also too for coming with us. I like that you guys stuck with us tonight with the live. Like, the numbers were consistent the entire night of people watching us live, and y'all were engaging in the comments. So I appreciate that too. And all of
Yeah.
that stuff goes a long way. But yeah, like, definitely support and share. Definitely,
All
definitely
right.
support and share. Speaking of sharing, PK, how can
Yes.
people connect with you and everything that you have going on?
All I got going on right now is Just Vote, period. All right. It's a lifestyle voting advocacy organization catered to millennials, Gen Xers, just trying to get them to understand the importance of their vote. You could be the richest man in the world, like Bezos on Amazon or Tesla and whatever, or you could be the poorest man on the side of the road. If you both register to vote, you only get one vote. You get one vote. It's a great equalizer. Everybody's going to tell you your vote doesn't count. Everybody's going to tell you why waste your time. All those who've been incarcerated, you know how hard it is to get it back. It's all for a reason. They don't want you to be a part of democracy so they can make decisions for you. All right. And we ain't talking about just voting for the president. That's cool. But that's the least person you need to vote for because that's the
Exactly.
least effect that it has on your daily life. We're talking your commissioners, your mayors, your councilmen, your school board members. Those are the things that affect the daily lives of yourself and your children. If you don't give a shit about yourself, care about your children. If you don't care about your children, care about the legacy of your parents and grandparents who fought, died, got bitten by dogs to vote. All right, please get involved. Please go to justvoteperiod.com to get more information and definitely follow us on Instagram at justvoteperiod.
That's dope. And also too, with Just Vote Period, we have a lot of things coming up with that. So guys, please tap in on social media so you can know what's going on with Just Vote Period. There's some things in the works that we have going on that we can't say at this moment. We got to keep it a little tight, but I think y'all gonna like some of the things that we have coming up with Just Vote Period. And as you know, um, I'm a board member of the organization as well, and so a part of the organization is me being with media. And with media, I have High Low News, and so you guys, if you look at the screen, follow High Low News at on all social media platforms. Sign up for our email newsletter. We have exclusive content there on our in our newsletter and on our website for our loyal followers. Um, and like we said earlier, like and share and tell a friend. That's how we are able to keep doing what we're doing. And if you like what you're seeing, share and comment and like. As you're watching live too, make sure you're liking the like button. That helps with the algorithm. So as well. So when you hit the like button when you're watching live,
Like that
um,
shit.
Yeah, do it right now if you haven't done it. That helps us as well with the algorithm. But PK, this has been an amazing show.
Yeah, really
I
good, really good.
appreciate it. I want to do this again. How you feel about your first live podcast
It was
show?
awesome. It felt good. I mean, we be faking the funk like we live in the other shows, but it'd be, because we got to get guests and we got to do it a certain way. But this was like live, like,
I
like
have I eventually want them to be
10:31 live.
no, I eventually want them to be live, like get in
No, they
that hot
will be.
seat.
That's the plan for season 2 is
It,
to do more of our shows live. So we on that.
no, I meant into the point not even pre-recording. It's like get your ass on here at 8:30 or 9, whichever time we
I know.
figure out
Well,
that
this is
day.
the first time we was working together on this, so this was like our learning curve. So I'm down for
No,
that. I'm
no,
down for that.
definitely. No, definitely. I'm saying in the future, I want our guests to come live. Cause
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
yeah,
I'm
so,
with you.
so you can see those comment lives and those questions
Yeah.
live. I want to see because here's the thing: when they come on your radio show, that's live.
Yep. You're right. Now we gonna get it. Season 2.
Maybe
Y'all have,
three, maybe three or four, maybe three
okay.
or four.
Y'all have a great one. Thank you so much, man. We wish y'all an amazing rest of your weekend. And thank you again.
Thank you guys. Good night.